Krishna Krishna Hare Hare कृष्णानंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, इस्कॉन फाउंडर श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, जय हो विष्णुपाद पावनभक्त प्रभु सदा। इस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद महाराज ठाकुर की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, नामाचार्य श्रीदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से को जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधाकृष्ण को गोपीनाथ राधा श्याम गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन मत गोकुल द्वारका धाम की जय, जगन्नाथ धाम की जय, नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय, गंगोत्री की जय, रत्नदेव तुलसी देवी की जय, सावेत भक्तवृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंद all glories to us, all glories to us, all glories to Shri Guru and Guru. Om Jnanti Mirandasya Jnanam Shunam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Caitanya Manokishram Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Sadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pradakamaram Shri Guru Vaishnavamcha Shri Rupam Sagrajantam Saganatanatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakatita He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishnavanusuke Devi Pranamami Hari Pancha Kalpatarupesha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patilana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamti Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 29th chapter, 9th verse. Vishayana Visandaya Yasha Aishwaryameva Archadav Archayat Yomam Vitakbhava Sarajasaha
विषयानभिसन्धाय यस ऐश्वर्यमेव वा अर्चदौ अर्चयत्यो माम् भावाशराचषः
The worship of deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. Hare Krishna, please repeat. The worship of deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. The word separatist must be understood carefully. The Sanskrit words in this connection are Binna Drik or Pratak Bhavaha. A separatist is one who sees his interest as separate from that of the Supreme Lord. Mixed devotees or devotees in the mode of passion and ignorance think that the interest of the Supreme Lord is supplying the orders of the devotee. The interest of such devotees is to draw from the Lord as much as possible for their sense gratification. This is the separatist mentality. Actually, pure devotion is explained in the previous chapter. The mind of the Supreme Lord and the mind of the devotee should be dovetailed. A devotee should not wish anything but to execute the desire of the Supreme. That is oneness. When the devotee has an interest or will different from the interest of the Supreme Lord, his mentality is that of a separatist. When the so-called devotee desires material enjoyment without reference to the interest of the Supreme Lord, or he wants to become famous or opulent by utilizing the mercy or grace of the Supreme Lord, he is in the mode of passion. Mayavadis, however, interpret this word separatist in a different way. They say that while worshipping the Lord, one should think himself one with the Supreme Lord. This is another adulterant form of devotion within the modes of material nature. The conception that the living entity is one with the Supreme is in the mode of ignorance. Oneness is actually based on oneness of interest. Hare Krishna, this is the final conclusive purpose of Prabhupada, very important. If for this talk it's very important, a pure devotee has no interest but to act on behalf of the Supreme Lord. When one has even a tinge of personal interest, his devotion is mixed with the three modes of material nature. Thus in the transmission purpose. Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-dharchalakaya Chakshuram-militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna-prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami-Nitanamni Namacharya Padaya Padaya Gaurata Namalaya Shri-Ramatayane Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna-prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami-Nitanamni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurava चारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखां करोति वाचालं गते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं गोविंदाय नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजाभ्ये आनंदलीलामय विग्रहाय यमादिव्याचमुस्मराय तस्मै महाप्रेमसुतलाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते. Hare Krishna, we are Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto. So we are in the teachings of Lord Kapila. So this particular chapter is explanation of devotional service by Lord Kapila. So here in this particular chapter, Lord Kapila is explaining the devotional service when it is mixed with the modes of material nature, mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness. And then you will explain Sattva Guna, Shuddha Sattva, devotional service in Shuddha Sattva, and also you will explain what is the desire of the devotees of serving the Lord, ultimate desire. So last class we understood about 3.29.8. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry, and who is a separatist is considered to be in the mode of darkness. So actually devotional service to the Lord is actually the eternal duty of the living entity. Jivara Swarupa hai Nitya Krishna Das. A living entity cannot serve the Lord unless he is very fortunate after coming to the material world, Bhagyavan. So even when he comes to that level, still how is devotional service to the Lord is tinged by the material modes, because material world means it is the Prakriti, means it is influenced by the three modes. But devotional service is actually transcendental to the three modes. But still even the devotional service is transcendental, but still when the devotee engages in the devotional, he can be influenced by the three modes. Exactly like the law of the country is the law of the country. Nobody can break it, and everybody knows that it should not be broken, but still there will be somebody breaking it. This is the same thing, devotional service. So in the last class it is explained that devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry, and who is a separatist is considered to be in the mode of darkness. So this separatist is explained in today's verse. The worship of deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. So the translation here, previously it was persons, individual, now serving in the temple. The worship of deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment. So all of us, we know what is material enjoyment means, which is separate from Krishna's enjoyment. Fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. We will try to understand Srila Prabhupada's purport. So pure devotional service, this is the last class, I am continuing from the previous class. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma janavratam anukulyena Krishna shrilanam bhakti uttam. When the first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monastic philosophy, and futile action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. So Krishna means the Supreme Godhead. Krishna also means his devotees. And Ankulya means favorable for pure devotional service. Now, Lord Kapila is trying to address Mother Dehavati's question. And if anybody remembers what is Dehavati's question, one of the very strong question is asked was, which we will come later also, that how can the living entity, when he comes to this material world, how he can be liberated from the clutches of the three modes, from the material world. And she says it's highly impossible. It's very impossible. Like the taste of the water cannot be separated from the water, like the fragrance of the earth cannot be separated from the earth. The same way, once the living entity comes in contact with the material world, it's very highly impossible for it to come out of it. But what is impossible means by itself for the living entity is not possible. It can be possible only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas and the Lord by devotional service. So here it says two things: devoid of material desires. So material desire and spiritual desires, there are two. So material desire means for our own, and spiritual desire is for the service of the Lord. It is the lust and the love. And then knowledge. So here Rupa Goswami is saying this verse. He says it's also devoid of knowledge. So what is this knowledge is? The knowledge is required for bhakti or no? Jnana and vairagya is required. Tesam jnana nitya yukta eka bhakti vishishyate priyo jnana natyatam hamsa cha mama priyaha. So Krishna in 7th chapter he says that 4 types of devotees surrender unto him. Artho jijnasa arthati jnanicha paratashrava. One who desire of wealth, one is distressed, one is trying to understand inquisitive, and one who try to understand the absolute truth. These 4 devotees try to surrender unto him, and among them one who is in the knowledge of the Supreme and who renders devotional service, he is very dear to him. So bhakti basically means that we come close to Krishna, we become dear to Krishna and we remain with Krishna. So today's verse is speaking about the worship of deities in the temple by separatists with their motive for material enjoyment. Fame and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. So here, when the 3 modes are involved, that means it is contaminated, it's not pure. So this is not the pure bhakti, but we are discussing about the pure bhakti. Now we will discuss when devotional service is unfavorable. Is there any time that the devotional service can be unfavorable? Yes or no? How many are saying yes? Is at any time devotional service can be unfavorable? No, devotional service at any time cannot be unfavorable. If it is unfavorable, the demons will never get liberation. Even Krishna kills demons, they will get liberation. It's not. But only thing is that what is the ultimate benefit of devotional service? That is the secret. What is the ultimate benefit of devotion? Otherwise, Kapila would not be speaking about devotional service which are contaminated with the 3 modes. So now why is speaking? Because we should understand what is the pure devotional service which is above the modes. So this is the question. When is the devotional service is unfavorable? From this shloka, when it is unfavorable? When one becomes a separatist. So usually when we say separatist, what do we mean? What do we understand? Separate interest. See, usually in the material world, usually in the material world, everybody wants to be different than others. Everybody wants to be different than others. Then he thinks that he is distinguished. But in the spiritual world, it's the totally opposite. Everybody has to be together. He cannot be a separatist. If there is Guru, means all the disciple has to be with the Guru. If it is surrendered to Krishna, means everybody has to be surrendered. That is why Krishna says, Ekena Manasa. Or there is another verse is there, Vyavasatmik Buddhi Eke Guru Nandana. So that should be surrendered to Krishna. One cannot come out of the bhakti or service to Krishna and say that I am different. In spiritual life it is not accepted. So separatist means, this I am now everything from the separatist one who sees his interest as separate from that of the Supreme Lord. So this is the difference between the devotees and the non-devotees. So what is the mood of the devotees? Why their saintly persons are glorified? Prabhupada says, who is a Guru? Prabhupada says, he is a representative of Krishna, right or no? That means whatever, a representative means what? Whatever the Lord desires, He gives. Correct or not? What the Lord wants, Lord wants all the living entities to go back to Him and engage in devotional service. So this is the mode of the saintly persons also. But a separatist one who sees his interest as separate from that of the Supreme Lord. So what will happen? The very cause of our existence in the material world is because of our separatist mentality toward the Lord. Very simple definition. The very existence of our material world is only because of the separatist mentality from the Lord. Because we don't want to be with the Lord. So, and Srila Prabhupada, separatist one who worship the Lord in the mode of passion. That means motive for material enjoyment, fame and opulence. So what is these three items mentioned? It will come further also, it was before also. So what does that mean? Material enjoyment, fame and opulence. So this is something related to the body. Actually we will be only touching part of this. We will discuss something else better than this for us, for our spiritual life. So material enjoyment, is it favorable for our devotional service? It is no. Bhogashya prasaktanam tayaprata chedasam vyavasatmya buddhi samadhavana vidiyate. Krishna says, those who are engaged, bhoga and aishwarya, sense gratification and in the bhoga, the devotional service never take place within them. So it is not favorable. So there was the question of this attitude, that means one engaged in the devotional service. She has asked this question before, now Kapila Muni is asking, is that if the devotional service is contaminated, see, what is there with this question is this. In the material world, all living entities, if they are not devotees of the Lord, they are suffering anyway. There is no end to it. One who does not become a devotee of the Lord, suffering is mandatory. It is unchangeable. That is the nature of the material world. Dukkalam ashashvatam. But the worry should be, when it comes to spiritual life, if his bhakti, devotional is not favorable, then he is not better than them also. Because why is not better than them? He may live in a better way because of the devotional service, because devotional service has got an effect, but what happens is that the ultimate benefit which is supposed to get of devotional service, he will not get it. So that is our attitude. The attitude here, see, there was this question here in the previous chapter. She says, my dear Brahmana, does material nature ever give release to the spirit soul? Since one is attracted to other eternally, how is the separation possible? As there is no separate existence of the earth and its aroma, or the water and its taste, there cannot be any separate existence of intelligence and consciousness. So what is the interest of a separatist? So here, this is the question, that it is basically not possible for the living entity by himself to come out of this, the bandhana of the material modes. It is not possible. Even after coming to devotional service, if it does not engage in the pure devotional service, then still it is binding in the material world. So Prabhupada says, the interest of such devotees is to draw from the Lord as much as possible for their sense gratification. This is the separatist mentality. Mixed devotees are devotees in the mode of passion and ignorance think that the interest of the Supreme Lord is supplying the orders of the devotee. But actual interest of Lord is, what is the actual interest of the Lord? This is what we said, representative. Machitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarishasi ata chetvam ahankaram na shrosasi vinakshasi. Says, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such a conscious but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So this is just a preliminary to today's class. So if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditional life by my grace. So what Dehavati is also the questions in this Kapila Gita is actually basically how the living entity to come out of this material existence. So Krishna is saying, if you become conscious of me, so what is in this particular mode of passion, which one wants to fame, enjoy all, what is the conscious of becoming Krishna here? Bhaktaram yajnatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suradam sarvabhutanam jatamam. So Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, whereas all the shlokas, who is trying to enjoy? Even that they are doing the bhakti, they want to enjoy. Even they are serving Krishna, they are devotees, they are not ordinary souls. They are not ordinary, they are not non-devotees, they are devotees. But while they are serving the Lord, still they want to be enjoyed. So that is the hindrance. So it is due to, Krishna says, if however you do not work in that conscious, but act through false ego, that means identify the body, not hearing me, you will be lost. Now, cause of false ego. So what is the cause of false ego? It is actually ignorance, but we will speak from Srila Prabhupada's purport here. When one, the so-called devotee, desires material enjoyment without reference to the interest of the Supreme Lord, he wants to become famous or opulent by utilizing the mercy or grace of the Supreme Lord, he is in the mode of passion. So why the mode of passion is unfavorable in bhakti? So first of all, to understand, we need to understand also what is bhakti. So first, urdvam gacchanti sattvasta madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya gunavrittista ado gacchanti tamasa. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. So now Mother Dehavati is asking the question for what purpose? What is the first question in the beginning? That I am inflicted with the material miseries. That how to come out of it? She says inflicted. Who is the mother of the Supreme Lord? Herself. She is saying. So here, if we worship the Lord in the mode of passion, then what happens? What happens? We remain here in earthly planets. But what is the purpose of devotional service? To come out of this material world. But pure bhakti will award the ultimate goal of life to the living entity. So this one, Lord Kapila spoke before. Jarayati ashriya kosham nigirinnam analoyata. Says, bhakti, the devotional service, dissolve the subtle body, mind, intelligence and ego of the living entity without separate effort, just as fire in the stomach digests all that we eat. Now for our gross body, do we have any difficulty to dissolve it? Yes or no? Not difficult. Whether you wish death or not, the death will come. The body will dissolve with the material nature. It will dissolve. The material body, the death is there. But the question is, how do we dissolve the subtle body? Because as long as the subtle body is not dissolved, then our existence in the material existence is guaranteed. So if we have to go to spiritual world, the subtle body has to be dissolved. And the subtle body cannot be dissolved by one's own endeavor unless one engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. So that's why it says bhakti, the devotional service, dissolve the subtle body of mind in the ego of the living entity without separate effort. Just as a fire in the stomach digests all that we eat. So how does it dissolve? For that we need to know what is bhakti is. If generally if somebody says what is bhakti is what we will say? We will say it is the purified activities of the senses in one sentence. Correct? Prabhupada make this statement. It is the purified activities of the senses. But what is this purified activity? This activity, it involves what? That is the main subject to the benefits of bhakti. So by the very nature of bhakti, there are how many processes there? 9 processes there. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam and Atmanivedanam. Then, next what comes? Yeah, this is okay. Now we are talking about the bhakti. What all involved in the bhakti? Next is 5 limbs of bhakti, which is association of devotees, chanting the holy name, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, residing in holy dham and deity worship. So next what comes? Bhakti. So it is the 6 characteristics of bhakti. Hare Krishna. So it is Kleshagni, Subala, Moksha Lagutakrata, Sudurlabha, Sandrananda Visheshatma and Sri Krishna Akarshani. See, this one goes another. First is the process of bhakti. It has to be within the 5 limbs of bhakti. And also it should be done. Once we do that, then what happens? The characteristics of bhakti will manifest. Because what you are trying to understand now, the bhakti in the mode of passion makes us clear. But how can we transcend these 3 modes to be engaged in the pure bhakti? And then, what happens? 5 kinds of liberation in bhakti. May be difficult to read. So, Sahaja, Samipya, Sarupya, Salokya and Sasti. So now, then when we get liberation, then again, there are 5 rasas of relationship in bhakti. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya and Madhurya. Now the question, how even the bhakti in the 3 modes can transcend to pure bhakti? So now today's verse was that when a separatist, when he engages in the devotional service, that devotional service is in the mode of passion because he desires material opulence, fame and opulence. But whereas pure bhakti does not allow any material contamination. So how even bhakti in the 3 modes can transcend to pure bhakti? Because we should not at any stage be in the hopeless condition. So Asha Bandha, Rupa goes Asha Bandha, we should be always hopeful of that I will be purified in my endeavor, in my devotional service. Otherwise, we don't take to devotional. If there is hopelessness only, then to engage in devotional service, there will be no determination. But how can we determine that wherever we are, whether our devotional service in the mode of ignorance, whether our devotional service in the mode of passion, whether our devotional service in the mode of goodness, how can we transcend to pure bhakti? So now we try to understand that Atmanivedanam, total surrender to the Lord. Now, who is in the picture here? Yeah, this is Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, son of Virochana. So he is not an ordinary soul. Now, what we are trying to discuss, the devotional service in the mode of passion. Usually the kings, they are in which, the kings are the Kshatriyas and they are in the mode of passion. Brahmanas are mode of goodness, Kshatriyas are mode of passion, the Vaishyas are in the mode of passion and ignorance, and the Shudras are in the mode of ignorance. So Bali Maharaj he was the leader of the demons, and being is the leader, he was in the Kshatriya and he was in the mode of passion. But even though he was in the mode of passion, as it discussed here, he became one of the greatest devotee of the Lord. See, in the 5 liberation, one of that is Salokya. That means one when get liberation, he is Salokya is given in the same loka of the Lord. But Bali Maharaj, he was given in the same place. But Bali Maharaj is a great devotee. The Lord went to his abode, where Sutala, the Bali was placed in Sutala, but the Lord himself go to Sutala. Actually, the vice versa. Usually the devotees go to the Lord's abode, but here the Lord went to the devotee's abode, Sutala. So the liberation is also the wise. That is the greatness of the devotee. The Lord will do anything. So you will try to understand from this, the material benefits are insignificant to the benefits of pure bhakti. Atma Nivedanam by Bali Maharaj. So Kleshagni, now we will, first of all, when we engage in the devotional service, the 9 processes of bhakti, the characteristics of bhakti, that will manifest in the devotee, because that is the benefit of devotional service. So first is Kleshagni, that means destroys the suffering. Subhata, all auspicious, bestows all good qualities, bestows happiness. Moksha Labhuta Krut, derides liberation. Sudurlabha, rarely attained. Sandrananda Visheshatma, condensed bliss. And Sri Krishna Akarshani, attracts Krishna. So what do we need from this? Actually, this is nothing to desire. This will manifest by itself in different levels. So it's explained, the first 4 manifest in the sadhana bhakti, the last 2 manifest in the bhava bhakti. Hare Krishna. So we'll try to understand this because it's related to this verse, and we'll take the example Bali Maharaj in everything. So Kleshagni, immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. See, when we engage in devotional service, ultimately we don't engage devotional service for nothing. Correct or no? We desire something. It's not that we are desireless. There is certainly desire is there. But what is our desire? Haritoshanam. Our desire is that by our bhakti we please the Lord. And when the Lord is pleased, whatever He does, it is fine with us, because that we'll discuss also later. So first is to please the Lord. But when we are trying to please the Lord, there may be some obstacles. So how that obstacles will go from our ways, Krishna is explaining all these 6 characteristics of bhakti. That when we serve the Lord, what is coming in the obstacle, how it is removed. So immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. So 4th chapter Krishna says, Yate yadamshi samidvagnir basmasat kurute Arjuna jnanagni sarva karmani basmasat kurute tata. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. And 1866, what Krishna says? Sarvadharman Parityaji, he says that when he will relieve from all kinds of sins. And then Shri Krishna to Uddhava, because we have only 15 minutes. Yathagnihi su samruddharchihi karoti yatamshi basmasa tata mat vishaya bhakti Uddhavanam Shri Krishna Shaha says, my dear Uddhava, just as a blazing fire turns to firewood into ashes, similarly devotion unto me completely burns to ashes sins committed by my devotees. So how it is related to Bali Maharaj? Bali Maharaj did not suffer the offense of occupying forcibly the throne of Lord Indra because he served Lord favorably. See, we know Bali Maharaj, a small brief about Bali Maharaj. After the churning of the milk ocean, the demons were very badly defeated. And Bali Maharaj was almost dead. Almost dead. Shukracharya, actually, it says Bhagavad he was dead only. So Shukracharya revived him by Sanjeevani mantra. And then Bali Maharaj accepts Shukracharya as his spiritual master. Not only that all the Brahmani accepts them as his spiritual masters. And then he serves them very favorably. The Brahmanas, they were the descendants of Bhrigu, they were very happy with him. So when the Brahmanas are very happy, when the spiritual master is very happy, their benediction, there is no limit to it. Because see, like we recite this, Vanchakalpataru Bhushya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. In that shloka, what we understand, what the Lord does, only the other who can do is the Vaishnavas. That means the Lord can give liberation. Nobody can give liberation. Even Brahma says this verse, Rudra says this verse. Only the Lord can give liberation. So that liberation which even Brahma, Lord Shiva, of course, when they become the devotees, they can give. As Rudra has become Vaishnava, he can give that, because Vaishnavas can give. They become devotees, they can give. But in their position, they may not be able to give. But when they become devotees, they will give. So here it says that the Lord is the Mukunda, being Mukunda, the giver of liberation. Only the other one who can give liberation to the living entities is only the Vaishnavas. So here, Bali Maharaj, he served his spiritual master, Shukracharya, and the Brahmanas. By that they were so happy that he becomes so powerful, because then they made a Vishwajit Yajna. By that he becomes so powerful, so effulgent, and then they blessed him. Okay, now you can conquer Indra. So they blessed him and they sent him. And when Bali Maharaj came, only outskirts of Indrapuri, the Lord Indra's kingdom, Swargalok, outside, his effulgence and the power, Indra looking from his wherever he is, from his kingdom, he looking, you could feel the strength of Bali Maharaj, and he did not have the courage to fight with him. So what he does, he goes to his spiritual master, Brahaspati, and Brahaspati says, now this Bali Maharaj is emperor for the Brahmanas, nobody can defeat. If there is anybody can defeat, it's only the Supreme Lord. And this is not your time, it's better you leave the kingdom and go. That is why Bali Maharaj was occupying forcibly the throne of Indra, and it's an offense. It's forcibly. So, but still, he served the Lord favorably. This sloka, that sin was not applicable to him. Next is Subhada, all auspicious. Pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Neha Vikramana Shwasti Pratyavayana Videsvalpama Asya Dharma Sitrayato Mahato Bayad. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So what we are trying to understand now, if we lose this track, we will be lost for good. We are talking about how to transcend the devotional service, which are contaminated with the three modes, how it can be transcended to mode of pure goodness. And it can be done when we understand what is Bhakti is, and that Bhakti has got 6 characteristics. When we engage in the pure devotional service of the Lord, then these pure characteristics manifest. By that we don't again go back to in the 3 modes or in the material contamination. So Krishna says Bhakti is like Subhada, it's all auspicious. So Krishna says that in this endeavor there is no loss or diminution. That means we may not be successful, but still there is good hope. It is all auspicious because Karbajana Muni actually says to King Nimi, he says, Swapada Moolam Bhajata Priyasya Tvanya Bhavasya Hari Pareshaha Vikarma Yakcho Paditam Patan Chit Dunoti Sarvam Vriddhi Sannivistaha. He says, one who has thus given up all other engagements and has taken full shelter at the lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personal Godhead, is very dear to the Lord. And what happens, the Lord does. Indeed, if such a surrendered soul incidentally commits some sinful activity, the Supreme Personal Godhead, who is seated within everyone's heart, immediately takes away the reaction to such sin. So here, even though Bali Maharaj disobeyed his Guru and committed offense, but serving Lord favorably achieved complete mercy of the Lord. So what was the offense Bali committed? He did not obey the instruction of the spiritual master. So it is a Nama Parad. So but still, the Lord actually forgot that offense. He forgot that because he surrendered to the Lord favorably. That means, when this, why we are saying this, because it is the quality of the bhakti, that is the reason. It's the Lord Krishna will never go against scriptures. So it's part of the scripture. Even though he disobeyed the order, the Lord pardoned is part of the scripture, because by nature the bhakti is all auspicious. And what Bali Maharaj did? Atmanivedana, he fully surrendered. That is full surrender is part of the bhakti. So he must get the benefit. That's why he did not come under that reaction of that sin. Then moksha lagadatva. Those in pure devotional service derived even the concept of liberation. So this is the main subject of today. We are talking, we will go for 3-4 shlokas in this. Because when our devotional service is in the mode of passion or ignorance or goodness, which is contamination, how we can, what is the actual desire we should have for purification? What should the actual desire? This is the verse again, Lord Kapil will speak after 3-4 classes. Salokya Shasti Samipya Sarupektam Apiyuta Diyamananam Na Grananti Vina Matsevanam Janaha. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation. Salokya Shasti Samipya Sarupya Savijya. Even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Lord will actually, when one engages devotional service, he will avoid this, but the devotee does not desire. What is, if our desire in bhakti is very clear, then the falling down from the bhakti is very less. So that's what we are trying to error from this contest. So then what do they desire? King Prutu says, Na kamaye na tad apiham kvachin na yatra yusma charanam bhujas savaha mahatta mantar hridaya Mukachito Vidatsva Karna Yutamesha Mevaraha. He says, my dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence, Savitya Mukti. A benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction at least 1 million years, for thus I may be able to hear about the glories of lotus feet from the mouths of your pure devotees. Those who attended this Kapila Gita from the previous, one of the instruction which Lord Kapila gave for purification to become pure, it was about hearing, one of hearing. So this is what here is King Prudu says. So you want the benefit, because as long as we have the inclination to hear the glories of the Lord, that is a very fast progress on our bhakti. So usually we made the coupon here. The purpose of making the coupon system is for hearing actually. But still we are separatists. Today's look at separatists in the mode of passion. They don't want to obey the rules and regulations. They always want to be different. Even if we say please take a coupon, they are against to take a coupon. They will absolutely they will come without taking a coupon. This separatist mentality. Because temple and the Lord, there is no difference. There is no difference. What is that ego? It is a temple. The temple is a system, there is a procedure, this is for the service of the Lord. You are coming to a Lord's temple. If you go to a police station, you will not believe the police people. If you go to an airport, you will not believe the airport authority. If you go to a court, you will not believe the court. Immediately they will put in the prison. But if you come to the temple, you want to believe the way you want. You don't want to believe the Lord wants. This is separatist mentality. So this is exactly the sloka of what we are discussing. So here, but the hearing should be, the whole purpose of it is for that. That we should be desirous to hear it. That's the whole purpose of coupon is for this. That we should desire, that will purify us. So ultimate desire of the devotees. Lord Shiva to Mother Sati. Narayana para sarve na kutashana vidgati swar apavarga narakeshvu api tulyartha darshana. See, this desire we have, that can eliminate all our contamination. It says, devotees solely engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personal Godhead, Narayana, never fear any condition of life. For them, the heavenly planets, the liberation and hellish planets are all the same. For such, devotees are interested only in the service of the Lord. Bali Maharaj even knew from his Guru Shukracharya that God Brahmana was Lord Vishnu himself and came to take away all opulences. He did not desire anything except fulfilling the desire of the Lord. Atma Nivedana. See here, the Shukracharya was telling Bali Maharaj, he is the Supreme Lord. Now he came to take everything from you. And this Brihaspati tells Indra, when he goes to him, that Bali has come and that he is so powerful and we don't see that we can win. Brihaspati says, when this Bali, he offends the Brahmanas, then you can win over him. So this is the time. So even though Bali knew that if he offend Brahmanas, then everything, but still, because Vamana was Lord Brahman, he says, my word will have the, well, I will not deviate from my word. So he avoided everything, but he was successful in that. He was not failed in that. So Sudurlabha. So now I have to go because our time is finished. We'll just last and we'll go to the ultimate essence. Pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktyama me vijanati evanyachas tattva tato mam tattvato jata vishate tadanantaram. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Person Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Because of loving service to his spiritual master, Bali Maharaj could easily attract Lord Vishnu. Now actually, in truth, Bali Maharaj was actually serving the spiritual master because it was desire of the Lord. Because the Lord could have easily killed Bali Maharaj and given the kingdom to Lord Indra, but he did not do that. Because Bali Maharaj was actually a devotee of the Lord. And if Shukracharya did not make him as strong as Indra, then there was no need for the Lord to appear. So the Lord has appeared only Bali Maharaj and begged him. See, there is one Sudurlabha we did not take, which is rarely achieved. In the case of Bali, the Sudurlabha is that the Lord has appeared and begging. You just imagine everybody is begging the Lord for something to get, and here the Lord is begging. See, this is Sudurlabha, rarely achieved. Bali Maharaj achieved that, rarely achieved. Hare Krishna. So the conclusion now, a pure devotee has no interest but to act on behalf of the Supreme Lord. When one has even a tinge of personal interest, his devotion is mixed with the three modes of their nature. But as long as we have material body, can we be at any time without material desires? Is possible or not possible? So if there is no possible means, then we are hopeless, but there should be some hope, no? Hare Krishna. Characteristics of pure devotional service cannot manifest when the devotional service mixed with the three modes. And if those characters does not manifest, there is no hope going to back to Godhead also. Then what is the way to success for all? So this is what we carry home. Etan nirvidyamananam chatam akuto bayam yoginam nirnitham hare namanu kirtanam. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires. This is our today's verse, those who are desirous of material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So it says doubtless and fearless way of success for all is Hare Namanu Kirtanam, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. We chant the holy name in the three stages, which is Namaparada, Namabhasha and Shuddhanama. But to come to Shuddhanama it takes time, but in all our endeavor in Bhakti, definitely we may have up and downs. But when we keep one desire, two desires, one is that whatever we do, by that activity please the Lord, and number two is that we will try to chant the holy name of the Lord purely. This is an endeavor. We try to chant the holy endeavor, then that power of that holy name, which is 5 angas. What is the one anga in that? See, first we said 9 processes of bhakti, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam is there. Next we said is the 5 angas of bhakti, which one is the chanting the holy name is there. Then we said the 6 characteristics, which is Klesha Agni, Bhasma. We said that chanting the holy name can burn. So chanting the holy name, with all the stages it goes, and glorifying the Lord. See, this one is chanting the holy name of the Lord and a desire that whatever we do we will please the Lord. And in the first verse we recited only that pure bhakti, Anyabhilas and Shunyam. In that verse we said done favorable, and we say Krishna means Krishna's devotees also. So what that means, that our service, not only that we think that we are doing Krishna favorably, but also we serve the Lord and as devotees also favorably. Then it is possible that we come out of the 3 modes which contaminates the bhakti. Hare Krishna. With that we will conclude. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Krishna Prabhupada ki, Gurudev ki. Hare Krishna. Any doubt, any questions, any clarifications? Yes, Prabhu.
I have two questions. One you have already answered, but still I would have question on that. Desiring liberation. If one is engaged in devotional service and still desiring liberation, will he achieve liberation?
One is engaged devotion service and he desires liberation.
Will he get liberation?
Yeah, it is automatically done. It doesn't even if he engages in devotional service, even if he doesn't desire, he get liberation. So if he desire, automatically he should get. No.
Because desiring liberation is not considered as pure devotional service.
Yeah, that is the mood of the devotees. But moksha lakutarakrat means it even derives the liberation. That means it derives it doesn't mean the liberation is not there. Liberation is by default it is there. For this there is another verse in Bhagavatam which you know. That Lord Brahma is praying when he was the cowherd voice. But Tatya Anukama Sasumuksha Mano. Yeah. That verse he says that this devotees of the Lord, they may be suffering in this material world due to their past activity, but when they engage in the devotional life, the liberation becomes their rightful claim. Yeah. Dayabhruk, he says, Dayabhruk. That means it becomes the rightful claim. And Srila Prabhupada explains, like the son, he acquires the property of the father by default. The same way, a devotee engaged in devotional service of the Lord, liberation is his rightful claim. Even if it doesn't get, he can claim it. Not just getting, he can claim it. It's there. Hare Krishna. What is the other?
Second question, Prabhu, is separatist mentality.
Yeah.
Doesn't it have its origin in spiritual world? Because when we are separatist in spiritual world, they know the important, otherwise it might be important.
Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshtasya nam. Yes.
Please repeat that question, we are not hearing it.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
No, the separatist mentality.
Okay, separatist mentality.
Because unless one has a separatist mentality,
You have to tell what way, so I'll repeat here.
I'll speak the Lord even.
Yeah.
But as we discussed that the separatist mentality exists in material world.
Yeah.
But if it does not exist in spiritual world, then why does become one separatist in spiritual world? The desires to enjoy separate from God and possible.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. See, that is Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Paritamam Kishame Bhavam Pada Kripaya Tava Pata Pankaja Sita Sadrasham Vichita. O son of Maharajananda Krishna, I am your eternal servant. Somehow that I have fallen down to this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. So we are not going to live in the past, we are in present and future. Caitanya Mahaprabhu says, now we are here, engage in devotional service, go back. But when you go back, you will not come back. Of course, the answer is like when you misuse the free will, because today's class we said, the Bhakti dissolves the subtle body. Mind, intelligence and falsity, but they are contaminated. But it doesn't mean that we don't have mind, intelligence and ego in the spiritual. We have that. See, in the spiritual world is also the three modes are there. In the 10th canto, in the Lord Brahma same pastime, when Lord Brahma he stole the cowherd boys and the cows. So the Lord manifested all the Vishnu forms. When Lord Brahma came back, so Lord Shri Krishna manifested all the 400 forms, and then Brahma is watching something very peculiar. You can in Srimad Bhagavatam, very peculiar. What is that peculiarity is that Lord Shri Krishna is looking at all that 400 forms which are in the cowherd boys, but Brahma could see them cowherd boys as well as 400 forms in a very, very affectionate way. So he says that affectionate way looking at it is the mode of passion in the spiritual world. When the Lord develops a mode of passion, He looks at the devotees in a very passionately. I mean, there is no cause for it. It's a causeless mercy of the Lord. So when the Lord looks at His devotees in a very passionate way, become compassionate towards them, that is also considered a mode of passion in the spiritual world. Because it is there, it's Srimad Bhagavatam, that particular verse is there, purport is there. That's it. You answered your question. I don't know.
Nice answer.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, you say something? Yeah, you and Dhruva Maharaj, he will not take all the. Now today we are focusing on the devotional service in the mode of passion that when we desire, because this mentality will be there, and material body doesn't mean that we are pure. There will be some desire will be there, but how to transcend this beyond the modes to be engaged in the pure devotional service of the Lord. Lord will fulfill all desire and He is happy to do that. Why? Because one of the characteristic of Bhakti is, what is that? That Sudurlabha, that it is Bhakti is rarely achieved. Why Maya is so strong in this material world? What is her duty? Sudurlabha is related to Maya only. Bhakti, one of the characteristic of Bhakti, see it is Kileshagni, Subhada, Moksha Lakutaka, Sudurlabha, Sandra Visheshatma, and then Sri Krishna Akashi. So Sudurlabha, so why it is Bhakti is rarely achieved? Because Maya will not allow to engage in Bhakti. And how the Maya acts? Maya acts to the three modes. It doesn't come directly in front of her act. The three modes. Either will be influenced by the ignorance, whether you will be influenced by the passion, or you will be influenced by the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna. Yeah, bro.
The statement puts everybody at par. Those who are desirous of material environment.
Yeah.
Still constant chanting. So why are you promoting anti-materialism? It says everything is at par.
Yeah, that means in the material world, desire cannot be eliminated. Bhakti, the chanting of the holy name is so powerful. Even a person who is inflicted with the material desire can be purified. That is here the strength of the holy name is actually explained. I understood. I also when preparing, I thought it's a rasa bhasha. All the time you are discussing about the material contamination, and suddenly you bring something which will make a feeling that it contradicts totally whatever we said. Yes, we need that. The reason is that in the material world there is a hopeless condition that we become 100% pure. It's not in the material world. It's definitely not possible to become pure. But it doesn't mean that we don't have a hope. The only hope is that whether I am contaminated or I am not contaminated, as long as chanting the holy name is there, that is the perfection, because we are not looking at the people, we are not looking at either ourselves or others, that what is my fault is. We are only looking at with this fault, how can I perfect? And that hope is only chanting the holy name. That is why after speaking all Srimad Bhagavatam, at the end what Sukadeva Goswami says, Kale Dosha Nitya Rajan as Eko Mahan Gunan, Kirtana Krishna se Mrita Sangha Samachara is Kirtana. So ultimately, yes, our subject matter may be discussing about the mode of passion, mode of ignorance, mode of goodness, but this is not the ultimate subject to understand. The subject to understand is that if you are inflected with this, how we are supposed to come out of it. That is explained in the coming verses. It's coming, but this is a preliminary to the perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. His Grace Sundar Chaitanya Prabhuji King. Srila Prabhupada King. So today's class, the subject matter was separatists. One of the subject we discussed. So here is a statistics about the non-separatists. So today morning till 8:10 p.m. we had 256 devotees who attended the temple Aarti. And after 8:10 till now we have around 51 devotees. So totally we have now around 307 devotees. Hare Krishna. Saturday 29 is Ekadashi, fasting from grains and beans.